Anyway, this morning, we have a young man that hails from San Diego, California. He's with us every Tuesday this month, and this is the last Tuesday of the month, so I know he's got something special to give to you guys. You know, and I want to say this. He's a single father. Daughter's 15 years old, beautiful as the day is long. He's a great gentleman. He's a great family man. He also brings a great knowledge of information. He's always out to teach you guys. He was talking about social media, how he's getting more and more people on social media. The question, have you been adopted what he told you to do? Without further ado, the great regional director from Southern California, San Diego, to be precise, with the #1 organization in all of San Diego, the great thing, compliment Mr. Julian Lewis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm faring out here with the snow on the ground. I'm loving it. Nice little crisp air. I love it. It's not every day we get snow.
You know, I was wondering if you were going to get it. I was wondering if you were going to get it because we had hail out here in San Diego. And usually when we get hail out here, that storm moves your way, you wind up getting snow. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And it's pretty cool when it does. So enjoy it.
I would be out 2 days yesterday.
Right?
I woke up this morning. It was just beautiful out.
I know it. I know it. I see Miss Belinda Batiste with her scarf on. It must be chilly out there too. Corey Alexander, bro, you're just like me. I keep spinning on my chair too, like I was a kid. My daughter did it. Look, I caught my daughter rocking on the chair, and I was about to tell her to stop, and then I noticed I was rocking on mine. I couldn't tell her. So I understand. I just want to say good morning to everyone and let Mr. Thomas know. For those of you that don't know, we all know Mr. Thomas, SVP, Mr. Thomas, Senior Vice President, 10-year Circle of Champions member, on the cover of Success from Home magazine, back to back to back, accolades upon accolades, awarded one of the top people in all of network marketing, #2 top income earner, back to back in his company prior to ACN. These are things that are documented. And a lot of times we can get lost in the sauce. We could get lost in the documentation and not see the man. And I want you to understand that the man that he is just is the reason why those accolades are a reflection of who he is inside. It's not because he was chasing those things. It's because of the man he is on the inside. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning, because he's a mentor. He's a father. He goes above and beyond. The conversations that he has, the reason why he gets up so early, some people think, wow, that's crazy. You get up that early every day? Yes, every day. The reason why he does is because of how many people he wants to reach out to and impact. And so he spends a good amount of his time connecting with, mentoring, and impacting people on his team and off his team, in ACN and outside of, people that he's in church with, people that he doesn't even talk about, that he does, the things that he does with his church. And I just want to let you know that, because oftentimes we talk about ACN and him as a mentor, and sometimes I think it can be white noise, but I just want you to know who you're connecting with on a day-to-day that serves us. So Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you. I commend you, and I thank you for being the man that you always show up as every single day for us. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty excited about this morning. And what I want to do is I'm just going to start with a quick video. So I hope you guys are awake. If you were like me, my first period class, I remember not even in regular high school. This was in summer school, because I did everything. So I played football, I ran track, I was in band at the same time as in football. And a lot of that meant that I had to take summer classes as well, to keep everything balanced so that I didn't have to graduate later or anything weird. So I remember being in, I remember summertime finishing up our, who remembers Hell Week? You guys remember that? Well, before Hell Week, we had all these crazy workouts as well, if you were varsity. And I remember my summer school teacher was economics. And you know, for me, I didn't like it. My brother actually got his degree in economics. But the first thing he would start out with is a video. And it was in the morning, and there was no such thing as coffee as a kid. And I just finished up my workout, and video meant nap to me back then. So do me a favor, please make sure you're awake. Don't take a nap on me. This video is important. I want you to get an idea. I think you're going to recognize this individual. Most of you probably know who he is. But after the video, I might have one more because I kind of want to shape where we're going with this, but I really want you to pay attention to this video. And oh, by the way, he usually doesn't curse. I don't think he does in this video. So if he does, I apologize up front. He probably might say one thing from memory, but I apologize up front. So let me go ahead and get into it.
Uncle Phil, I was in trouble with Uncle Sam. Me and Jeff had come out with a smash hit. Parents Just Don't Understand. We made a bunch of money. We won a Grammy. Album was triple platinum. I had motorcycles and cars. I called the Gucci store in Atlanta, and I was like, "Hey, will y'all close it down if I bring my friends?" And I'm smiling, but that's stupid. We released our next album, and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I had spent most of my money, like all of it. I spent all my money. And I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I mean, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh, damn, they need their money. The IRS took all that stuff. So I was like, broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination because you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you're sitting next to them on the bus. And the stuff they ask you to sign on the bus, you know, like, oh, can you sign my baby? That's a Sharpie. I probably shouldn't write on the baby with that. Oh, you too big to sign my baby? Well, no, I mean, you know, so I signed it. So I was like playing around, and my girlfriend was like,
dude, we're not doing this. Like, you're not just gonna be laying around this house all day. You're gonna go do something.
I was like, what? What am I supposed to do?
Go where people is doing it.
Where are people doing it?
Go to the Arsenio Hall show.
Just go stand around at the Arsenio Hall show.
Yes.
That's stupid. So I went to the Arsenio Hall show, and I met a dude named Benny Medina. Benny Medina is the real-life Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, except he actually went from Watts to Beverly Hills. Same basic concept, way shorter distance. I meet Benny, and he pitches me the idea for this show, and I'm like, you know, I'm not an actor. I'm like, cool. And he said, hey, you know, I want you to meet Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is producer with me. So I find myself at Quincy's, and there's actors and artists and celebrities and politicians, like everybody's at Quincy's house. It's like The Wiz without the costume. So Benny walks me in and introduced me to Quincy. Like, hey, Q, what's up, man? He said, hey, man, you know, saw your music videos. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Tell me your rap name again. So they call me the Fresh Prince. All right, good. That's what we're going to call the show. And he handed me a screenplay for a failed Morris Day pilot. Like, I don't have the time. So I need you to do this. I need you to go ahead and take a few minutes, take 10 minutes, study the script, and I'm gonna clear all the stuff out the living room, and we're gonna have everybody sit down in the living room. We're gonna do an audition. He had movers that could reset his furniture. I was like, this dude is real. So goes out, tells everybody, come on. And I was like, hey, Q, hold up, man, hold up. I'm not ready to do no audition. And he said, all right. Well, what you need? Tell me what you need. Just set the meeting for a week and I can do it. He said, yeah, you know, Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC, is out there. I'll get him a schedule for next week. And then you know what's going to happen? Something going to come up and then he's going to have to reschedule. Oh, yeah. So 3 weeks from now, Q, we can do it 3 weeks from now. I said, yeah. 3 weeks from now will be good. Or you can take 10 minutes right now and you can change your life forever. I was like, f that. Yes, give me 10 minutes. I said yes, and I let it rip. And I got to the end, and everybody is clapping. Quincy looks at Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC. Did you like it? And Brandon said, yeah, I liked it. Quincy said, no, did you like it? And he said, yeah, I liked it. He's like, good. You're his lawyer. Draw me up something right now. Damn, Quincy ordering other people's lawyers around. But that's his lawyer. Quincy, leave that man alone. And Quincy turned to me and he was like, hey, Will, you got a lawyer? Quincy, I'm broke. If I had a lawyer taking 5%, he'd owe me money right now. He's like, all right. He turns to his assistant. He was like, get Will a lawyer. Quincy had been drinking. Yeah, no, it's probably obvious from the story, but he had been casing. He had wet his beak a little bit that night. Yeah, so the lawyers go out in the limo, and they're drawing up the first deal for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Quincy is like popping up at the window. No paralysis, do analysis. No paralysis, do analysis. I was like, how did he make Thriller like this? So we got the lawyers draw up something. Ken Hurst looked it over for me, Brandon Tartikoff, and we took a picture and we signed the basic deal for the Fresh Prince. And 3 months later, we were shooting the pilot. And that's the story of how I became the Prince of Bel-Air. So the moral of the story is always say yes. And I guess listen to your girlfriend.
All right, all right. Did you guys like that? Okay, so like I said, you know, if you know me, you know why I do things. I always do things for a reason. You guys have heard my story many, many times. Just know that I was an engineer before I got involved with ACN. I was really busy. I needed to get home to my family because my daughter was going to be born. It pushed me, it drove me to do something way outside of my comfort zone right now on the spot. I had to say yes right now on the spot when I saw this business, because I knew that if I didn't do something, my daughter was going to continue to grow, whether or not I did it. And so I knew that this was one of those moments, and it was welling up in me. I could have said no, but I said yes. And I joined this business, and in 2 weeks I was in profit, and in 6 months I was home with my family. And it wasn't because I was special, it was because I had courage. Courage comes from a root word meaning of heart. It means of heart. It doesn't mean that you don't have fear. It just means you have heart in something you're doing. In other words, like Miss Natasha Ismail would say, do it scared. And so I want you to think about the Will Smith that we know today, because all he talked about is how he got to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But that's important to understand, because he was a rapper. He wasn't an actor. I remember it. It's my childhood, because I grew up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm pretty sure if I had Mr. Jabri Clemens open up the line and have everyone sing the song to the Fresh Prince, every one of you have it in memory for the most part. Born and raised on the playground. What is where I spent? See, Bill, I see you, brother. I see you over there. So what I know is that he became a household name because of it, but people don't see his struggles. They just thought that he was privileged. They just thought that he came up, but he had to go through his pilgrimage. I want you to write down pilgrimage, monk's journey. Every single one of you have it. Pilgrimage, monk's journey, and it's going to be your own. It's not Marie's monk or privilege. Monk's journey or pilgrimage isn't Natasha's. Natasha's isn't Marie's. Marie's isn't Jabri's. Jabri's isn't you guys. All of you guys are have a different pilgrimage, monk's journey. And if you don't accept your pilgrimage, you miss out on your purpose. And I want to talk about that because Will Smith has changed my life in so many ways in personal development. But the man he became and the thoughts that he has that resonate with me were formed in the process of his pilgrimage. This was his journey. He came out of Philly. He was incredible at rap. And if anyone listens to lyrics, the sad thing is the way our society is. Society loves negative. And although they love negative, Will Smith decided he wasn't going to curse when he rapped. He was going to be a storyteller. He was going to do what most wouldn't, and he was going to still make it. And him and Jazzy Jeff made it happen. They made it happen. He still didn't curse. He still had people coming up that were successful, like Eminem, saying, "I'm not Will Smith. I'm going to curse." He started talking about all these people started talking against him because he was positive, but he still made it happen. But because because he didn't come from money, because he didn't come from success, he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to spend all his damn money. And he spent it all on crazy stuff, on stuff that kids from the hood look at as successful. He spent it all on the cars. He spent it all. He called the Gucci store and he told him, he said, this is Will Smith. If I come by with all my friends, will you shut down the store? And he said, yeah, that was cool, but it was stupid. It was stupid. He burned through all his money, and now he was the famous guy on the bus. And then his girlfriend told him he should go to the Arsenio Hall show, and he's like, just to stand there? And he didn't want to do it because it was uncomfortable. Imagine being famous. Imagine being successful. Imagine knowing that you're supposed to have the money, but you're embarrassed because all that money you had, all the success you had, you made a big, big mistake. And now he had to figure out a way to get the money together to get on a flight and get to the West Coast and be way outside of his comfort zone to do what? I don't know. He didn't know. But he was able to get on the show. And that being uncomfortable, the willingness to be uncomfortable, the commitment to do what he did. Listen, write this down. Immature people are only committed through crisis. Immature people are only committed through crisis. Your blessings are ultimately as big as your sacrifice. And so, way outside of his comfort zone, he decides to go to an after party with Quincy Jones. You guys don't understand. If you know who he was, not the person you saw on TV, but if he was, that dude was a character. He was bigger than life in real life. And so he went there. He could have said no. I don't know if you heard Quincy Jones. Yeah, we can reschedule, but if we reschedule, then the head of NBC, he's probably going to reschedule. And if we go 3 weeks, then this guy won't be available. In other words, the stars are lined up now. And the reason why Quincy Jones was so major is because he recognized those moments and he told Will straight up, you need to do it right now. I'll give you 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 minutes. And the stars would never line up this way again. And you can either do it or you can walk away from your purpose. In that moment, could Will Smith have said, you know what, I just need more time? If he did, he would have been a rapper that went platinum a few times that you remember from back in the day. He wouldn't have been the Will Smith you know now. He would have been the Will Smith that went broke after going double platinum and then going, like he said, an album that flopped and went double plastic. You would have known him as a few hits wonder. But stepping way outside of his comfort zone and seeing it through led to the Fresh Prince. Now, had he done anything like that? No. So that pilot show, I remember like yesterday. And you know what? I remember how incredible it was, the synergy that took place on that show, how long it lasted, and it created the actor that we know that went on to do something big called Independence Day. Breakout. Independence Day led to the movies like Men in Black, but he was never afraid to do things. So he did a movie that flopped. You guys remember what that movie was? Wild Wild West. And he chose to do that movie instead of picking up The Matrix. But the movie The Matrix allowed Keanu Reeves to get his shot into stardom the way we know him today. So when you are so open to doing new things, even not taking the matrix doesn't stop your hustle. Do you guys get what I'm saying? And some of you might be saying, well, you know what? I'm not Will Smith. I'm not Will Smith. I can't do that. My personality is this way. The way I'm built, blah, blah, blah. My personality, blah, blah, blah. I'm stubborn, blah, blah, blah. It's all crap. I want to tell you that right now. And I'm going to share with you a quick video, a quick one. It's a real, like a excerpt that will, from Tom Bellew. He interviewed a psychologist to show you how to reset your personality and redefine. Because all of it is a narrative. It's a story that you carry, that you decided to make your own and write in stone. What's so funny is there's nothing in your life. Listen to me. Look at me right now. I don't want you to write anything down. Listen to me. There's nothing that in your life, in this life now, that is written in stone. Not even us waking up tomorrow is written in stone. Nothing is written in stone. So whatever story you're telling yourself is a lie. You can create what you want based on it. Do you understand? You can create what you want, but you got to let go of the narrative that you've been telling yourself that is who you are. So if you look at this video real quick, what I want you to do is, it's about 4 minutes to understand why this is true. And this is from a psychologist. This is not direct from me. So you check this out. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Everybody, welcome to Impact Theory. I am here with Benjamin Hardy, PhD. Ben, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Tom. Happy to be with you, man.
Awesome. Well, your book, Personality is Not Permanent. I am obsessed with this concept. And I think the right place to start is give me a definition of personality as you see it and why you think that you needed to make that statement, that it's not permanent.
Yeah, personality, as I see it, is pretty much quite surface level, actually. A lot of people view it a lot more fundamentally than I do, but it's, from my perspective, very surface level. I think the general definition in psychology would be your consistent attitudes and behaviors over time. So that's basically it. It's how you consistently show up in situations, how you respond to situations. And from my perspective, there's an enormous amount of factors that lead to how you show up. And so I felt like I wanted to write this book because I come from a huge background of change in my own life, came from a pretty rough background, and I've gone through a lot of psychology, got the PhD. And so I just felt like typical conversations about personality were pretty weak. From my perspective, they're just generally a fixed mindset. Personality tests, all of these things are just kind of a weak view of what the construct is. And so I just felt like it was a really good vehicle to explain how things like trauma work, how things like environment work, how things like identity work. I just felt like personality was a really good tool to show people how change was possible.
So when you talk about the amount of time that goes into writing a book and you think, okay, this is going to be something that is certainly very important to this person, and obviously you think that it brings value to the world, what is it that makes people feel trapped in their identity? Why is it so easy for people to grow up thinking that identity or personality is this fixed thing that solidifies?
Yeah, I think a lot of it obviously is your identity. Identity and personality are two separate things. Identity, in my opinion, is far more fundamental. Identity is basically how you self-define and how you self-describe. It's basically just who you see yourself as, which drives your behavior. It's your story about yourself. So if I were to ask you, Tom, who are you? You'd start telling me a story. You'd tell me about your past. You'd give me a narrative. And so your identity is basically how you see yourself. And what's interesting about identity is it actually in a lot of ways comes from your goal. So for example, you building Quest or you building Impact Theory, whatever your goal is, that's a big part of what drives your view of your identity. Me going to school, becoming an author, like whatever goal you have for your future. And a lot of people aren't as thoughtful about that. That's the thing that ultimately drives your identity. And then your identity drives your behavior, and over time that reflects your personality. So personality, from my perspective, is the offshoot of identity, and identity comes from your view of your own future.
So if I said it in a different way, let me know if this makes sense. So identity is the narrative that you give yourself, just like you said, and then personality is the way that that manifests in behavior?
Yeah, behavior and attitudes. It's how you show up. So, when you change your identity, when you change your script, when you change your story, and obviously that would be based on a goal you have, a future that you're trying to create, then that's going to change your behavior over time. And if in a really easy way to actually assess that in people is just compare your current behavior with your former self's behavior. It's really easy if you just look at a snapshot of yourself, maybe 5-10 years ago, the things you were pursuing, the things you described yourself as, the people you were around, those are, even the things you valued. Chances are a lot of that's different from what you value right now and what you're seeking and how you would even see yourself.
Yeah, you talk very eloquently about that in the book. One of the things that I found really profound in the book is that your personality is going to change whether you want it to or not. On a long enough timeline, just the way that life bumps you about and the way that we are meaning-making machines, and that we're always assigning meaning to things, we're always telling ourselves a story, it's going to shape you in a certain path. And it seems to me that sort of the core thesis of the book is you can take control of that. And if you
Why did I share this with you? It's because oftentimes people make excuses based on their story that they're telling themselves. They think their story is permanent. If you understand, is your story changes based on your goal. Your story changes based on what you're reaching towards in the future. So here's what's scary. If you have no goals, your life is Groundhog Day. If you have no goals, you continue repeating the past. Have you ever seen someone that got stuck in the past? Has anyone ever seen one? You can actually see them. You know why? Because their whole look says like 1987. And some of you might say, no, it's okay. I identify as old school. Well, if you identify as old school, you can't grow. See, I didn't even know that was a bad thing until I started to do the research. It means that you're stuck in time. Most people's time that they're stuck in is their quote unquote heyday. When they were the man or woman. How many of you have ever seen someone that you haven't seen from high school? They were like 50 Cent said, they were the man in high school. What happened to you? Right? But if you look at them, they look like they're still dressed as if they're still that dude. Because that is the narrative that they gave themselves. They're stuck. It's called stasis. Nothing on this planet is supposed to remain the same. So as you're trying to keep it the same, you're actually becoming obsolete. So here's what I want you to do. Let go of the narrative. Let go of the narrative that you're telling that you're not good enough. Let go of the narrative that you're telling yourself that you can't do it. Let go of the narrative that you're telling yourself that you're an introvert. Let go of the narrative that you're telling yourself that you're scared, that other people are better than me. Let go of the narrative that you're telling yourself that it's not designed for you to win. Let go of these narratives, because these narratives are shaping your future and they're not real. They're just stories that tell ourselves that we start to express. Our personality is an expression of the narrative that we continue to tell ourselves. And your narrative is keeping you trapped. Another word for it is affirmation. You're affirming that you're not going to win based on what you're saying in your mind and what you're saying out of your mouth. And some people think affirmation is mumbo jumbo. Even in the Bible, there's affirmations. It's called the power of I am. I am great. I am victorious. I am a child of God. I am a winner. I am a victor. I am the best. I am a conqueror. I am courageous. I am strong. I am gifted. I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am wonderfully made and fearfully made. See, these are affirmations. And when you have to deal with the flesh, see, people think the devil is outside. The devil is within, because you are the flesh. And so when you have to deal with saying over and over again how you doubt yourself, I wanted to bring it full circle because my first conversation this month had to deal with what? Had to deal with the fact that you're telling yourself, the child within you, that you're no good, that you can't do it, that you're stupid. You turn left. Now we're going to be late, stupid. Why did you do that? These are the conversations that we have inside of our own mind. And what I'm trying to share with every single one of you is that you can change your story. But you have to make the choice consciously to do it. Before you can do something that's positive on an unconscious level, you have to be aware that you're not doing it. Because before you're aware that you're not doing it, you're making mistakes on accident. That's called the unconscious incompetent. Then you have to be aware of that. That's conscious incompetent. Then you have to change it. And that changed behavior isn't going to be normal because it's not a habit yet. That's the conscious competence. And then if you do it repetitive, you do it long enough, repetition is the mother of learning. You keep doing it over and over again, guess what? That's the unconscious competence. And the only way you get there is first by awareness. This psychologist said it. Guys, every thought leader says it. If that's not the case, then why are you choosing to keep your narrative over what experts, scientists, thought leaders, and everyone you know that's successful is telling you is true? It's because you find comfort in your dysfunction. See, your dysfunction is what you see as normal. I mentioned it's like going into someone's house that it doesn't smell quite right in their house, and you wonder how they can live in that situation because they opened the door and you could smell whatever that funk was. You know, it's just like not quite right. But if you hang out with them in their home long enough, you get used to it. You've got used to the funk in your life and you're passing it off as okay. What I'm trying to share with you right now is that all you need to do is take a shower. All you need to do is wash it off and create the habit of doing that every single day. What does that look like in your mind? Waking up and speaking these affirmations of positivity out loud. Why? Because you have to course correct. You have to reset those negative thoughts. How do you do it? By bombarding it with positive affirmations. Your brain gives you negative ones all day long. So what I'm recommending is that on 3 occasions, in the morning, in the middle of the day, in the evening, you start to reset, course correct your mind by doing positive affirmations in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening. And those of you right now that really want to keep your narrative are going to say that sounds silly. I'm not going to do it. But my question to you is, why not do it if everything you've been doing hasn't been working to get you where you want to go? Why not do it if you haven't been able to break the cycle thus far? I have people in my team and in my circle, people around me that I love, that I see walking around in a loop. I have people that are on here right now that I see constantly walking around in a loop. It's like a robot because they've tucked away their spirit. They've tucked away the God within to allow their flesh to be autopilot in these stories that we constantly give ourselves as the narratives that keep us trapped in this world. But you're so much greater. It's like being a God, not knowing that you are, walking around as a man. That's the level of greatness you're leaving on the table. And all you have to do is reprogram yourself. Stop watching the news. No, I know you guys are nodding your head. And some of the people that are nodding your head are going to go watch the damn news tonight. Stop watching the news. Start reprogramming your life. Start in the morning. Take your phones, get them far away from your nightstand. If you have to pick that phone up in the morning, take it far away from your nightstand. My father's phone was in his office. His phones were in his office. They were nowhere near his bed. The mindset he created from the child he was, who was brought up in Red Hook in Brooklyn who moved to Bed-Stuy. That was an upgrade, was from one rough hood to one that wasn't as rough. To the man he became was the mind that he shaped. The man Will Smith became was in the process of doing it now, having courage in the moment and the mind that he shaped by changing his narrative. And there's nothing special about Will Smith. He's showing you that you can do it. Stop saying these people are special and go out there and have their example teach you that you can do it too, because they are just like you. That's what I want to leave you with at the end of the month. Every one of you have opportunity to do it, but you can't do it running on your old program. You got to change that program. Get those affirmations, do the work. Don't be lazy. Go online, find the affirmations that work for you, and then say them in the morning, in the afternoon, and before you go to bed. Listen, I bombard my subconscious with it because I have the affirmations playing when I'm asleep. Do what you need to do and stop making excuses, because guess what? That's your narrative. That's your story. And you make it true because it becomes your behavior. But you can change that today. So, Mr. Thomas, I want to hand it back to you, sir. I hope some of you got some value or a light bulb moment today. I hope this call has blessed you in a way that you will move different in your life so that you can impact others and recognize your self-actualization, your self-realization, your power inside actually coming out is showing someone else that they can do it too.